you believe that we started recording right in the middle of 2020 with all of the COVID and lockdowns going on around us, unable to meet up? So like many a young gentleman, we turned to the internet for our entertainment. Tried to find a place where we could meet up and talk about the good, the bad, and that time that Stu saw a pelican on the canal. In order to facilitate our dreams of answering all of the big questions in film, and after a few attempts at recording via other methods to various levels of success, we found Zencastr, a super easy web-based one-stop shop for recording. Log in and you're ready to record in a matter of seconds. It doesn't take a tech genius to get high quality audio or video. And on top of that, the one time we have had an issue, the fact that the multi-layered backups are stored locally means it's easily fixed all in browser. There are plenty of tools you need when you start podcasting, so let Zencastr take that headache away, as it offers a place to record, edit and distribute all from one website. Any lazy bones Jones can pick up and play and have studio quality audio or 4K video put out for the world to see when using Zencastr. Go to zencastr.com/pricing and use our code CAGEFIGHTING and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. We want you to have the same easy experiences we do for all our podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story. And now, hit the music.
I've never been left in charge like this before. 4 years.
Oh, the thing.
Well, he set it all up and everything like little Dan does for us. So he's like, yeah, here's the link, here's the login. I didn't even know what the login was. No idea. And breathe. Hello and welcome to Cage Fighting. I'm your main man, Andy Gillard here. Hope everyone's... Of course not. Andrew is treading the boards again in his annual trip to New York. So today we're doing something special. We're educating Andy yet again, this time on Bond. So we have two Bond experts here. Dean Marsden, as everyone knows from the Wolves Fancast and Twitter. Hello.
Hello, everyone. I wouldn't say expert. I'll leave that to the other guest, but I know a bit.
And you heard the noise, the tone, without even an introduction, didn't you? Just because Skyfall is where his Bond was born, this is not why we got a Scottish person on. Pure coincidence. Bond superfan, cage fighting superfan, Monty. Hello.
Hello.
There is a point. What are you going to do when this episode goes out and you can't listen to it? Are you just going to listen to it again?
I'll never listen to it.
Hasn't pulled that far ahead.
No.
That sounds terrible.
She's so much of a super fan, Dean. She bought a Wolf shirt just because we don't sell merch.
Ah, fair play.
I just need to
Right that. Right that.
Put it away. No, my mum found a Wolves top from 2005.
Okay.
We McNamara on the back of it that I completely forgot.
And because that was the same year Andy turned 40, quite a cool. Oh, to have it.
Jackie Mac. Oh, what a player. That was one we should have mentioned in our Legends thing earlier. We needed a Jackie McNamara t-shirt.
Agree.
He was only here for a short time, but he was absolute quality.
Yeah.
But this is not the Fancast. It's already been 2 minutes in. It's already got derailed. Today we're talking about Bond, and Andrew wants us to convince him to watch Bond. Even though I've tried personally for 4 years of knowing him. No, I've known him for a lot longer than that. But on here, 4 years. In Fancast world, in real life, a few years more than that. And he won't give in. For some reason, he won't give in. So he comes up with this Baker's Dozen questions about Bond. We'll read them as Andy has read them. And as he has typed them out on a PDF and sent to us like a professional podcaster that we are. Let's start with the nice early one. Question number 1. Ding. What was your first Bond film? Do you have any early memories of Bond in general?
See, I think it's a funny one with first Bond because when you get into them, you're a little bit older, but you then look at the old ones as well. I think probably GoldenEye was the first one I really took notice of, as in when it came out live. But then that was also impacted by the game, the GoldenEye game on the N64 and all that kind of jazz and the crossover and when you were younger and stuff like that. But I think I probably got as a big fan of them. The Brosnan, however you want to pronounce it. His films, I think, was when I really got into them, and then I started to look at the back catalogue. But yeah, I think one of the first cinema trips I went to as just an adolescent was to watch one of his, just with one of your mates. Your first trip to the cinema was to watch that, I think. So that's probably my earliest ones, I'd say. But then, yeah, I've gone backwards from then in a timeline.
We've all started to regress, haven't we, as we get to 40? I think that's probably the same for me. I think Tomorrow Never Dies was the first one I watched in the cinema, maybe. Because GoldenEye I was only about 10, 11, so I wasn't being allowed to watch that kind of filth at that time. But I think mine, I've got a feeling that it was Live and Let Die. And I don't really know why. Maybe the song. It was definitely a Roger Moore one, because my nan hated them, but loved them at the same time, and because they were always on telly all the time back then, all the Roger Moore and Sean Connery ones. For some reason, it's either that or The Spy Who Loved Me, and obviously my mind is cloudy without the chance of meatballs, but it's definitely a Roger Moore one. And so, Monty, you're a bit younger than us. What was your first memory of Bond?
The first Bond I saw in the cinema was Die Another Day. That could have very well ended the franchise for me. No, the first one I saw was You Only Live Twice. It was my dad's favourite.
Oh,
On an old battered VHS.
nice.
And then, had to be Connery though. That's not just because he's Scottish. But no, that was the very first one. And then, see, I never liked the Roger Moore ones to begin with, but then in a retrospect, I was like, you know what? It's not that bad.
Is that because he wasn't Scottish?
Maybe.
We'll get onto that later. Actually, you brought us onto question number 2 already. How efficient of us. So I'm guessing that Sean Connery is your answer to that then. Who is your favourite Bond?
No.
Oh,
Oh, Timothy Dalton is.
left field shout.
I know.
And why? Explain yourself, lady.
I don't know. I liked him. I liked his, even though he did too, his films were so much better. Like, they're more realistic, but they kind of did what first before Daniel Craig did it. And I've always liked them. They're just been so different than any others. Plus, he's a better actor than the rest of them, so. Classically trained was Dalton.
I did not expect that answer. So, I when I went and watched them again before, I thought, well, I'm going to start with Timothy Dalton because you are right, that's where the seriousness started. And if you want to compare it to Bourne and all that stuff, you start at Timothy Dalton. And then films are, when I've got one as one of my memorable moments later, but they are brutal. And they're not even, they're like hard, they look 80s, but they've got very kind of grungy 90s feel to them. I think they're vastly underrated. Maybe they just don't get shown anymore because they can't be.
You can't at lunchtime ITV, you'd have to clear up the hell out of them.
Yeah, but like when they used to put RoboCop on before 9 o'clock, and it was on an hour and 5 minutes on.
Condensed it all the way down.
Is that a terrible Prime Directive series that was like PG? Where you didn't kill anyone or there was no blood ever?
Yeah.
So, and not RoboCop, Bond. Who is your favourite Bond?
See, I've gone for the cliche answer. It is Connery for me. I think with Bond, he has to be that nice balance of suave and rugged. Whereas I think Daniel Craig sways a little bit too far into the rugged, and Pierce went too far suave. He didn't have the stature of a Bond, whereas I thought Connery was the middle. He was just a nice balance to do both of those things and do what you'd expect Bond to do. Like some of the stunts in kind of Die Another Day and that kind of stuff, you just wouldn't expect that actor to do those things in real life. Whereas Daniel Craig's not got that suave element to his game, like the smoothness with the one-liners. He doesn't come across as well as when Connery does them. Again, the accent may play a part. A little big up there. But I think he's probably my favourite. But as a character, when it's like the actor's probably different to the character, but as a character, I like Daniel Craig's Bond because there's more to it. All the other films were very much kind of, you could watch them in singularity a little bit, whereas Daniel Craig's Bond was the first one to have that kind of continuous subplot all the way through with Vesper and all that kind of stuff intertwining through the films. But as an actor, I'd probably go Connery, but as an actual Bond, and the Bond character, I'd probably go Daniel Craig. So it's not really an answer, but he's an answer at the same time.
No, I think it's a good point now because you are right. They all have their own individual things and they are very of their own time. Like Roger Moore is the most 70s man in the world.
Yeah.
Other than Richard Roundtree in a very different film. But he is. Daniel Craig does look like he's been hit in the face with a brick sometimes.
Yeah.
And yet you're meant to believe that, yeah, he can swoon anyone. I don't think he probably could. Not by just looking at him. Maybe he's got something about him. I mean, you can put this is not our genre of interest, is it? Want to be? You can join this one. You can give your opinion on this. But okay, but out of all of them, the best looking one. Let's break it down to the easy thing.
Connery.
Yeah, like they said, Sean Connery is, and he probably still would be, even now, even dead. He would still be the best looking one.
You still would.
Oh no. Well, you did mention Die Another Day, so there we are. But I mean, there's no love for George Lazenby ever, is there? Never mentioned.
No.
It's not too bad.
No, it's not too bad.
He's dubbed the entire film by George Baker, by the guy that Bond impersonates. It was terrible.
And he was Australian.
He lied his way to get there, which I think is great. He invented his CV. The boofers for
Have to respect what?
I don't know what credits he made up. Like, I don't know if it was in like the Japanese version of Crossroads. No one full well of could they fact check it, but they did.
I think that's something I'd watch, just for out of interest. The Japanese Crossroads.
Well, where would the Japanese versions of Birmingham be?
Hiroshima.
Line them up, you knock them down. I know watching Crossroads, the when he came back, and that was when 9/11 happened. I was watching Crossroads, and it cut away. Never forget. I can't help what was on ITV, can I? I was off school.
Just diagnosis murder on the other side.
I don't know. At that time of the day.
Hey, did you seriously watch? I couldn't watch a single.
I love I genuinely.
The original, I've watched the entirety of it. Not the reboot.
The reboot. I really wanted the guy, the guy with who looked a bit like Timothy Dalton. I wanted him to be Bond.
Well, not the guy that was in Hail Honey I'm Home, who played Hitler. I'm sure it's that guy. Have you never seen that? That was a genuine sitcom.
No, I've never heard of it.
For one episode on YouTube, and it was imagined as a sort of I Love Lucy, but with Hitler and Eva Braun.
And this is.
That sounds more Andy than you.
Yes, you're going to get derailed.
I mean, I didn't expect the guy from Crossroads being in a Hitler sitcom, to be honest, being mentioned here.
Never did anyone 30 years ago.
Yeah, the reboot of Crossroads was because it was set around here, and we only had doctors, so no one watches fucking Doctor ever. Exactly, but Crossroads was at least funny, but But I used to watch it. I watched every episode of that until it got cancelled.
The worst thing is, I'm not surprised.
No, neither am I.
And I've watched some terrible things. That's not even in the top 10 of that year, of any year.
Even I couldn't watch Take the High Road. Oh, shoot.
Take the High Road was that a Sunday night?
Nothing happened.
It was Sundays, wasn't it?
Yeah, but there was always like some old repeat throughout the week, and then it was the main event that again no one fucking watched either. I think the main storyline was like the post went missing. It was never great.
So there's more character development in Post from Pat.
Pretty much.
Well, I used to watch things like was it Highway to Heaven? They used to be on a Sunday.
I might as well go and have something to eat because right over my head here.
I think Monica the Glen was probably the other one on BBC One.
Yeah.
Again, nothing happened in that either.
It's almost like nothing ever happens in Scotland, really.
It never does.
Other than
For rain.
batter and heroin.
Hey, leave heroin alone.
Leave heroin alone.
There was no heroin. You can take my batter, but you can't take my crack heroin.
So this is why this needs to be a video show. Yeah. Not heroin though. Pierce Brosnan. Was
He's a heroin.
well, he's in Mamma Mia. But he's better as Bond. For me, even though I grew up with Roger Moore and then went back, and Sean Connery's obviously a better version of it. But for me, my favourite would be Pierce Brosnan because I know you said he hasn't got. He's a mixture of the two, but not as much as Pierce Brosnan was. But he's obviously a good-looking bloke. And for the 90s, at the time, you'd gone away from like the Arnie and the Sly Stallone and the Muscle Man. You'd gone to some of the different type of 90s action star, and they were action films, really. So I think for me, it was Pierce Brosnan, and because he was just cool.
Yeah, he was. He was suave. He was cool. He was what you'd expect a bit of an espionage spy to be, but then it was more. I couldn't picture him like doing the stunts, whereas he was literally about 2 stone wringing wet, wasn't he? So he was a little bit too. There wasn't enough meat on him to be this all action, but 100% get it, 100%.
I like the fact previous Bonds aren't muscly though. I hate that Daniel Craig's in 6-pack. It's just the other Bonds. It's literally you don't know if he's going to win, but then you look at Daniel Craig and you think, fucking hell, we know how this is going to end. Apart from when he's up against Batista, which isn't so fucking credible at all.
Hey, no shade on Batista. Not on this
Oh, no shading at all, but
well, I mean, Roger Moore is like he's a proper dad bod. So maybe he should be the real answer to this.
he's just odd looking and Bond in general. See, it looks like he's sucking an exhaust pipe. It's odd.
I have got dad bod in my notes a bit later for something else, actually.
Not wrong with dad though.
Oh no. Oh, we're very much dad bod aficionados on this podcast. Don't worry about that.
100%.
So is dad bod, going on to question 3? Is dad bod one of the essential qualities that's in a Bond film, then, or is there?
You didn't need plot. Dad bod's fine. Someone who might stare at for at least 2 hours is fine. The winning is that.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's to try and sell it to Andy. I'm trying to think. All the notes I put down was purely to try and sell it to Andy in mind. There was no other purpose for these notes. It was purely just if I get him to watch one film, that's going on my gravestone, so that's fine. When I was looking at, okay, what do I like about Bond is what I looked at. And I think that intro scene that kind of sets the scene for the whole film, Like, obviously, you've got the Daniel Craig ones and stuff like that there, but even the older ones, that first bit sets up the film nice. That's one of the bits that it needs. It needs the soundtrack to go with it, which is why some of the films I'll probably hate on a bit later. I hate on them because part of it is the film, that the song is just shit. But then it just needs the wow factor as well when it comes to the stunts and the kind of the CGI, and I think it needs to be on that cusp of realism, that it pushes the boundaries. Like a bit later on when we talk about certain scenes and memorable ones, there's some that go way too far. But that's the stuff that Bond needs. It wants to be that thing like, okay, it's your normal bloke that's living this extraordinary life, and you can sit in the thing, actually, this isn't fully out of the realms of being real, but at the back of your mind, you're thinking it's completely bonkers. But then the first bits, and then it needs a good Bond girl as well, and a good villain. Like, it needs that mix, and I think it's done that really well over the years. There's been some bad ones, granted, but they've done that good mix of kind of the girl, the story, the entrance, the song. That's the stuff that brings it all together, I think, for me.
Yeah, I think that's pretty spot on. I mean, yeah, I know Andy and people moan about Marvel films all being the same. You got 35 of the things now, and there's a way of there's your usual Marvel film checklist. But that's what Bond films are as well, and there's 25 of them. And it works for a reason, because you go in and that's what you expect. Is that the same for you?
Yeah, you're expecting ridiculous gadgets, beautiful women, a kind of a plot, and amazing, like, even the sets. It's the same formula every single film. But again, like you said, it works. And it has worked since 1962. But if you can't fucking convince them to go and see a Marvel film, then
Oh no, we've convinced him.
America.
I like to. So we're not talking about Marvel films. Let's not get derailed, because we can do Marvel films. We can get Dave back. We can get everything. We can get Ash back to moan about it as well. We'll do Marvel films later in the year. That's a different story altogether. But you say about the sets, location as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't need Judith Chalmers when you got Bond films.
Yep.
And I remember Jonathan Ross actually saying that as a thing on BBC One. And it is, you don't want the volume. You don't want it all faked. You want it real. And for a lot of them, it is. It doesn't need to be surfing around. Just nice locations, women, banter. Not Richard Keys banter, just banter. But you're saying that, where would you, to a newcomer, not necessarily Andy, just a newcomer. I think you could probably break this down to someone in the 20s, and then someone maybe pushing middle age. I think there's two different audiences there. So where would you start? What film would you go with? So what encapsulates Bond for you?
I'll go second on this one.
I know, that's why I said you first.
Oh, right.
I knew you would.
I think I really like, for a neutral that isn't kind of into Bond, I actually don't mind Casino Royale, because it gives you that, it strips back Bond, it shows you the origins a little bit as well as the normal Bond nonsense. But I do think Goldfinger's more or less a little bit does the same, because it is, I think as an overall film, that's probably one of my favourites, if not my favourite. It's got everything that I've just said about the entrance scene, the song. It's got the villain. I'll mention that a bit later. But yeah, I think those are the two for me that I'd probably recommend.
And you've got Fort Knox, which is relevant again now. So there we are.
Yeah.
Topical. Monty.
Yeah, I probably pick the Motorola. The closest you're going to get to a fantastic spy film. And it's not got the gadgetry, it's not quite got the quips. It's there. And it's got the most brutal fight ever, and that train sequence with Robert Shaw's.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's not got a Bond theme though, not until the very end. But apart from that, no, it's a solid Bond film.
Yeah, I have got that as one of my mentions later on. But there are some where Well, we say the gadgets from the last question, and there is a few of these films where the gadgets are not even there.
Mm.
Though it doesn't really matter. It's film specific. I mean, I went with one that I don't think anyone would say. The World Is Not Enough. Exactly. Everyone just smiles about it because it's not the best one by any stretch of the imagination, but it's got a Bond girl with a stupid name that's only got a stupid name for one gag.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll talk about that later.
It's got a villain who's scarred and really Scottish. But so there we are. There's the link. And
Scotland is it going?
Bond is Scottish. The whole thing is Scottish. But there's the
Or Bond then.
not got a problem with that. We'll come on to that later. But you have got some and Goldie's in it as well, so it's obviously good. But
What a USP! It's got Goldie.
Yeah.
yeah, it's got Goldie and Robbie Coltrane. What more 90s can you possibly get? But I just like. I don't know why I really like The World Is Not Enough, and I think because you got the pipeline stuff, and you've got got the women, you've got the people that you know from other things. There's obviously the early stuff we're not going to get because unless you're like a proper filmophile, you're not going to notice or recognize these people. But you had seen people didn't know Cracker, and you've been able to listen to Goldie. You had seen Robert Carlyle in Almost Nothing, in The Full Monty, and many other things. So for me, I think that just hit at the perfect time. But then Die Another Day came later and ruined it all. So
Yeah.
but I think as a base level, you can see the elements of Bond films in that, even though it's not the best. That was my thinking behind it anyway.
Yeah, no, I get that.
So we mentioned it there, the pipeline, iconic moments or scenes, and you can take this however you want. You can go the stupid ones, the tragic ones, anywhere in between.
What have I got as my notes? I quite liked the this is a good one. The black and white fight scene in Casino Royale. That's on my notes. Also the Aston flipping as well. That stunt was just like mind blowing at the time. Like it's just the amount of flips and stuff. And then I kind of went a little bit more bonkers. And the bit what film is it? I forgot what film it was. I only watched it the other day. The one where you've got the acrobats as the kind of henchmen, and they're like they're going around and they're beating him up, and they're on trapeze and doing backflips and doing that to then kick a Bond. I watched it.
Forever. The Band
Diamonds Are Forever. Yeah, that's it. It's on there. And I was just like, it's just so crazy, but also a little bit Bond at the same time. Like, why would you have people that fight doing acrobatics at the same time? Like, it's completely mad. And then that ski jump with the Union Jack.
Yeah.
Like those are my notes. I'm just like, I can just imagine Nigel Farage trying to do that when the next election comes around on some kind of ski jump with the fucking singing Royal Britannia at the same time. A point in one hand. I was like, someone's shooting. But yeah, those are the ones I bullet pointed down. I limited it just to the 4.
Is that what convinced you to buy a Union Jack flag? Not to use that scene.
Really? Never gonna get flown in here.
You're baiting an issue. That's not right.
She will bite though, because you can see her getting slowly more rolled up.
You don't fucking do.
Go on, your memorable scenes that don't involve the Union Jack.
Yeah, the man with the golden gun ruins a perfectly good car chase with a Swanee whistle, but again, everyone remembers it. It's the same whenever you kill when Bond's snowboarding and then it cuts that scare cut to fucking California girls playing in the background. Totally memorable. And the one I like's on Her Majesty's Secret Service when Bond's going to rescue Tracy. That's like some of the best cinematography in Bond ever. Even for 1969 that came out. and it still holds up.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, and I think that's the point again, that you mention all this silliness, and yet you can go from the silliness to things that actually look really, really good, and from a technical point of view, look excellent still. Like
Yeah.
60, 70 years later, it's madness. I mean, you mentioned From Russia with Love with a shoe. I mean, how fucking stupid can you get? A middle-aged woman with a spike at the end of her toe. Yeah, it's the most terrifying thing in the world.
Yeah.
But then you go from that to the train scene, like you mentioned, and yet it's in the same film.
Yeah.
It's madness. I mean, I had the Union Jack parachute as well. I had
She did.
the crocodiles thing, which
Yeah.
for years until last year I didn't even know were real crocodiles. I thought they were just plastic, but now they were real.
That's why they named the Bill and Kananga after the guy that did the stunt.
Yeah, and I don't know why I didn't know that until last year. You just think, oh well, that's obviously not real, is it? And then it's yeah, of course it is. Why wouldn't it be? But you have like the things like the dam jump.
Yeah.
Which, again, maybe because of the game, it's more iconic from that reason, but
Yeah, yeah.
than the film. But still, yeah, the classic one, ejector seat, and the Lotus turn into a submarine. But believable.
Can you swim?
It throws a fish out at the end. Will that get in there?
Exactly.
Or the double take pigeon as well in Enrico.
They're almost like Lego films. And you can see that the absolute Britishness of it, though, what comes through with that kind of stuff. That's just incredibly silly. Yeah, you can just throw it in and it works.
Yeah.
But then, like you mentioned about the Timothy Dalton films, there was the first one on this list. I don't know what it says about me, but the decompression chamber, which I hadn't seen. I hadn't seen anything like that before.
Yeah.
I wasn't, other than The Fly, obviously. As we mentioned before, and I said on the Killing, go and listen to them 2 episodes, especially with me on. But it kind of did remind me of that for obvious reasons. But again, just brutal, things that you don't expect in a Bond film.
You never see the decompression part of this ITV. I never knew that was a thing until I actually watched it on DVD.
Well, you think he was just going in for a rest?
I was wondering what was going on.
Well, that's not
You know
quite
the guy that does the damn stunt in GoldenEye. I don't think the guy that does the stunt, there's an episode of Bottom, you know the one when Richie's pretending to be like Kilroy? You know when they're filming that, when they're trying to get on TV?
Yeah,
The guy that does the stunt's the same guy that does the damn stunt in Bond.
No way.
What?
Yeah.
How about that for a CV?
So, yet again, 90s TV to Bond film.
Crossover we never knew existed.
Sean Bean, again. Sharp
Yeah.
to satellite dish. Yes, Sharp was great. Sharp was ahead.
Yes,
Sharp was Sharp was HBO before HBO. You don't know what Sharp is, do you?
Nope.
Oh dear.
I was too busy playing PlayStation or watching Italia 90 on Channel 4.
Which again are good options.
Yeah.
But you could probably, I mean, you can get the whole Thunderbird series now in HD, well, soon. Which, I can't wait for that.
Yeah, that will be good.
This is what they need to do next. Sharp. Sharp on Blu-ray. They're talking about gadgets. The best and the most ridiculous. There's memorable ones, there's stupid ones. I can kind of guess what one of Dean's is going to be because it was bubbling under the surface before. Go on.
Both of mine are cars. The best is the DB5 and the worst is the disappearing one in on a bar.
That's
Like it's just fucking ridiculous. Like, what are you doing? Like, it's never going to be a thing. Like a disappearing car. Like even Tesla ain't going to get there. Like it's just so far fetched. I was like, yeah, let me just press this button and my car will go invisible, and I can creep round and leave footprints and watch someone. Like it was just completely bonkers. Whereas on the other end of the spectrum, the DB5 was just the DB5. I don't need to say much more on that.
Yeah, I've said it before, but we went to watch Die Another Day at 7 minutes past midnight, just so that we could have 007 on our cinema ticket. The first
So
showing.
sad. We bet you still bought it as well.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, I knew you would have.
my ticket as well.
Because we went to watch. I was going to say Prisoner of Azerbaijan. Then that's not the film, is it?
It's in the dark.
Whatever that film is.
Azkaban?
Azkaban. Well, there you are.
Yeah.
We went to watch that, and then we came out of there, and they'd put it on the screen when you had the platform in the middle to get your tickets from. And it said there 7 minutes past midnight showing of Die Another Day. So we came out of that,
Fine.
went to the toilet, bought more popcorn, went back in again.
Nice.
And I thought, being quite tired and already quite full on popcorn already, and then having another lot of popcorn and more drink, and to stay up past midnight to watch a film so shit that it beggars belief. To then see a car with little cameras on it disappear, and then that can also slide on the ice, of course.
Yeah, it's like the furthest we've got since like for that kind of thing there with cars is the little you can have 4 cameras on your car, one at the front, one at the back, 2 on your wing mirrors, and it gives you a bird's eye 360 view of your car. So when I put my car into reverse, it looks like I'm looking down on my car from above, and that's as far as we've got. Like this invisible thing nonsense is never going to happen.
There's too many D-links kicking about.
Well, you saw it on. I actually don't know when this episode's going to go out. So I was going to say the other day on Good Morning Britain, where they had sex dolls on there that have got AI built into them now. And yeah, this is proper deviant behaviour.
So
These are the people who want
it
invisible
makes that
cars.
it makes that film that little bit more realistic, doesn't it? What was the one with Megan Fox?
It was subsistent or something like that.
Subservient, something like no.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Something like that, yeah. But she was basically that, wasn't she? She was like an AI robot that went rogue and decided to try and kill the whole family because she wanted to have the man.
Please tell me Richard Madeley was on that Good Morning Britain saying that. Was he?
I don't think he was. We were deprived.
Why help that? Just putting people at work like fucking automated checkouts. Go for it.
Putting people out of work.
Is
I use ChatGPT every single day at work, so keep going AI, please.
no.
Yeah, but you use it so much, you've got a personal relationship with it, I think you talk to it like it's a person.
Yeah, how are you feeling today? Was today's first request.
It doesn't work with me. It doesn't pick up my accent. Even fucking Siri doesn't either. It goes, what? And I gave up with it. Anything that's automated, even in my best phone voice, it's still nothing understands me. I'm fucked when Skynet takes over.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that this is your best phone voice is gonna say it all.
Uncalled for, Stu.
I can't have it any posher. It gets weirder. Like hyacinth bouquet on heroin. It doesn't work.
She was never in a Bond film, sadly.
I can't tell you the story I know about her.
37 minutes. Right.
It's well, like,
It's libelous. I can't share it. You'd have to edit it.
Yeah, and I'm not doing that. No. DM her on Twitter if you want to find out what Hyacinth got up to in the 90s. Twitter was never in Bond, though. Gadgets. Shush, go. Who's yours?
What? Best gadgets or ridiculous gadget?
Both?
Probably ridiculous. What's the one? Is it Octopussy when he's got the watch and he's got the camcorder at the women's tits? I take it back. That's a tremendous gadget.
I was just going to say, is the magnetic watch that undoes a zip the best one ever?
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah.
That takes the fun out of it.
No fumbling required.
Exactly. How bad are you at unzipping that you need a watch to help you out?
I mean, after a few beers, I've been very bad at unzipping to the fact that I've caught some skin, and that's a bad story. That's why her button's neck like a baby.
Again, I'm not surprised.
The jeans are actually on the radiator. Yes.
Oh dear.
Zips are bad.
You're going to
What
do
do
when you get older and buttons fail you.
There's poppers then, ain't there?
You just wear them elasticated ones and just pull them. You see them viral memes of a bloke has to put his trousers all the way down in a urinal. That's going to be Stu.
Or they'll get just get them Mr. Tumble trousers with the braces.
No, don't do it.
Don't start. He already does that. You haven't seen his jeans.
Only at Christmas.
Fair.
They chose to play in all gold this season. It wasn't my fault. I was just a pioneer again. It's just the way it is.
I don't even know where you'd buy them. Where would you buy gold jeans?
Camden Market.
Sure.
That's your actual answer. That's where I got them from.
Brilliant.
But you can't buy a crocodile to hide inside on Camden Market, though. Which is, and yet again, one of my earliest Bond memories of him with that crocodile head in the water.
Yeah.
Just been totally baffled at what was going on.
Just bobbing around.
So this is my problem, because there's been so many of them. I haven't watched them for so long. They all kind of blur into one.
Yeah, I had that. And I was trying to think back. I was like, what film is that? And I couldn't think.
Yeah, like I was trying to think of it, because we might as well go into it now. The must-see Bond villains, because mine was Jaws, and obviously you think Moonraker, but I was trying to think earlier, and it took me a while. Because as a kid, I thought, oh, he must have been about 10 of them. He's like the super villain.
Yeah.
But he clearly isn't.
He was in 2, wasn't he, I think? Jaws?
Yes, but I love me and Moonraker.
Yeah. But because, again, it's the ITV problem, because they're on all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll let Monty go first on the villains.
Is my mic being picked up by the way?
Yeah.
Isn't it? Doesn't see at this end.
Yeah, you've still got a sound wave.
Oh, it's not too bad then.
It's got warning, Mike.
I have no idea. This was like stolen from work, so
No, we can hear you. As long as you've got a sound wave, it's fine, because it picks it up natively anyway.
I know this native does it.
The fact she's native is the problem.
Mate, what racist? The standout villain for me, probably Fran Sanchez is probably the best villain that I've seen from License to Kill.
Yeah.
Again.
Good one.
What were you expecting?
He's expecting my answers. That's what he's going to expect.
This love for Dalton is quite impressive. I just never expected it. But this is Bond. This is because there's so much variation. Everyone's got an opinion on it, and this was the whole point of this. Because I would never have said that. Not in a million years. I probably off the top of my head wouldn't have even been able to name.
Yeah, but I'm sadder than you, so
Niche. The phrase is niche.
no, sad is the correct word.
Whenever everyone calls me weird, I say, no, I've got niche tastes. That's pretty what it is.
I think it called sad or mental.
Psycho. I really liked to be kind of plastic. I really liked Goldfinger because he was one of the few that didn't really set out for take over the world. He was like, I want my price to gold. I want the price of gold to go up, which was, in layman's terms, that's all his aim was. And he was the dad bod. This is my dad bod reference. He didn't look like a villain, did he? So like, he didn't look like someone that would physically stand up to James Bond, like spy extraordinaire. He was like, he had the dad bod. He just outwitted him on the mental side of it a little bit as well. My honourable mentions. This is more for the actors more than anything. I really loved Silver, like so Javier Bardem. I really liked the way he played that. Monty's frowning at me, but there's more of him as an actor than the character. But I did put Blofeld down just because of him being a bit of a constant and coming back and forth, even though they ruined him.
I say which one?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it was more the character of him coming back and being reincarnated in different entities and doing this, and that was the notes I put down. But then I also put honourable mentions for the henchmen, Jaws and Odd Job, more for comedic purposes than anything else. But yeah, I think Goldfinger was my number one. I think I didn't mind. Some of them had all their own little nuances, like Le Chiffre, he had his little eye thing and like all that kind of stuff. And then obviously Rami Malek is Rami Malek, and it's just got that extra bit of edge to him. But that's probably recency bias more than anything.
Yeah, but Rami Malek is great in everything he does, though. So I don't think it is recency bias. We can't have Rami Malek sounder as well.
She doesn't agree.
Won't agree. He's terrible.
Have you? I presume you've seen Mr. Robot.
Mm-hmm.
Of course you have. He's not terrible in that. He's not terrible in Bohemian Rhapsody. He's not terrible in Until Dawn.
He's only good in Gilmore Girls for the 1 minute. Then when that
Not a fan of Rami Malek, apparently.
No.
I think it's one of the, again, everyone's got an opinion.
They won the Oscar, so.
One of mine was Le Chiffre, to be honest. I thought he was, I mean, again, because I like him in most things. And he's got a terrifying face. And it's a terrifying face away from Hannibal. But Elliot Carver, because you watch that film now, how relevant that is compared to what it was at the time.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Do you think I'd get more love now if that was released now? That's my favourite. The Brosnans is Tomorrow Never Dies. But it still gets hatred, and I don't know why.
Yeah. It was way ahead. Maybe people just thought, oh, this is never going to happen. This is a silly idea.
A stealth boat. We're not far off Elon.
Again, it's an opinion. Leave the Musketeer alone.
What's in him?
But talking about hatred, there seems to be more things brewing about Bond songs. I'm guessing this is Sam Smith based. Because that is the worst one of all time, easily.
Madonna runs it close.
And No Time to Die. Like Billie Eilish's one. That's the dreariest fucking thing I've ever heard.
Well, everything they've been. Means she managed to make True Detective even more depressing.
But by a feet.
Yeah. But yeah. The modern one, I don't even think about. I mean, mine actually was from Casino Royale, because he didn't even mention Casino Royale in the title for the first time.
Did you get that to rhyme?
This is what they're paid for. Didn't do his job, did he? But I the whole thing of You Know My Now, it's good. It was. I bought that and played it on loop for ages.
Like the only iTunes song I ever bought.
Well, not Hero by Chad Kroger.
Oh, no, that was up there.
For some reason, I bought that as well. Because why wouldn't you? But I had Spy Who Loved Me and Live and Let Die for obvious reasons as mine. Because they're iconic. And a lot of them are iconic, but when they're bad, they're very bad. And Ding has been something that seems like you've got to get something off your chest. So
No,
go
I
for
just like you've got like Goldfinger and Diamonds Are Forever right there. Like these massive ballad songs. Like they're good songs in their own right. Never mind just being Bond songs.
So is A Living Daylights.
So it's a disco version of Moonraker.
Yeah, those are my two. I didn't mind Skyfall either. I thought that Adele was it was quite it matched it suited the film very well and the story of the film and the flow of the film. But yeah, Die Another Day was my worst. I hated that. As per most of the rest of the film.
Probably A View to Kill's my favourite. Most 80s thing ever.
Yeah.
Mm.
And the kind of thing that would be played at a Martin Kim 80s disco night, wouldn't he?
But that's getting sung in karaoke tomorrow. So
Well, if we need an attachment for when this episode goes out.
New jingle.
Yeah.
Sing.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. There we are. One time only.
That can be the intro.
If it happens, you've already heard it.
I don't know what to hear my singing voice. Sounds like Pierce Brosnan farting in the fog. It's terrible.
Yeah, but can we understand you more if you sing, though?
No, it's worse. It's like if you sped up Chaz and Dave like that.
Again, things that you didn't expect to hear tonight. Oh, dear. Let's get back on track a bit. We're only on question. What question are we even on here?
9.
Question 9. 50 minutes in. Recommend me 3 Bond films as a non-fan. Why do you think these films would turn me around? Andre has asked us.
Do you want to go one each for that? Or should we have our own 3?
Well,
you can go. I mean, I have got 3. If you want to give him 9, give him options.
Also, if 2 of us or 3 of us say the same ones, then that'd be top of his list, wouldn't it? Because you get multiple mentions.
There we go.
I'll let Monty
There's one
first. There'll be more educated responses from Monty than me.
really? Never been called educated before. Probably on Her Majesty's Secret Service. She's has to be. Plus, it's most faithful in the book adaptations you're ever going to get. Lazenby's crap, but it's a good Bond girl. Again, the cinematography is good. Even Kojak as Blofeld is great. There's not as always. I think in the past couple of years, it's now it's always at the top of the list now, and it never used to be.
Hipsters.
And it's got the best version of the Bond theme. Well, I think it's better than the Bond theme. That fight on the beach, the opening fight, it's so brutal. And it is actually Lazenby doing all his own stunts.
Yeah.
That's
Right, for a model. You never see supermodels do that, do you?
No. I mean, that was my number 1 pick as well. So completely agree. It's a brilliant film with just a bad Bond. Which again, for what Andy wants, we give him what he wants. Your number 2 then?
Probably The Living Daylights. I think it's if you were to sum up what was the best of Bond, I think that's the best you're going to get. Like, Dalton doesn't sell the quips as well as his predecessor, but
No.
the stunts are good. The plot's good. Not the great Bond girl either, but I just think it's even just I'm the geek that talks about the score of it, which I think is the best. It is John Barry's magnum opus, and it's never ever going to be beaten. So Love and Deluxe for me.
Another solid choice.
What?
No, you've nailed your colours to the Dalton mast. All well, thespians and all that. If this is not going to be another. No, I've got. Will this be Skyfall? Your third choice?
No.
Are you any guesses, Dean? Because she's mysterious.
I don't know. Might be something left field like Moonraker that you'd never expect.
Oops.
No.
No, it was a View to a Kill. Pure Christopher Walken madness, and that did.
I had Emergency Secret Service on there, and then I had Goldfinger and Skyfall. I thought Skyfall was good because it's a bit deeper to it. There's a bit more depth to the story for someone like Andre to get into. In Goldfinger, I've just got that it was just classic Bond, really, with the song, the gadgets, the villains, and Connery was good.
And you got the Aston back?
Yeah.
I mean, I went for an Emergency Secret Service as well. I had Diamonds Are Forever and Much We Love, so kind of mixing it, because I'll say Diamonds Are Forever though, because it's going on proper films and knowing what he's like and taking it for what it is and not for what he thinks they are. I think he'd probably enjoy that, as would he enjoy Casino Royale for that reason, because it's
that was my number 4.
Yeah, it's grounded. Again, interchangeable with Skyfall, really, for me. You can kind of that whole arc, the Daniel Craig arc. It's got a very good start and end in its own right. You can not like the end, but it has got one. So if you wanted to be picky, then you could just do that, but he'd be missing out on the backstory, which is part of the fun of it.
Yeah.
Diamonds Are Forever. And you call me left field.
Everyone loves Diamonds Are Forever.
Do they?
I don't know. It always
It was on ITV4 last night, and the wife's 90-year-old granddad was watching it, so everyone loves it.
It always used to be when. Again, I know you're just going to say, of course you are, because back in the day when I was a young pup, and you had them magazines that you used to subscribe to and you used to get a thing each week.
Steady.
Okay.
Other than the glow-in-the-dark T-Rex that everyone had, I used to buy the Bond fan club, and they used to send the little cards and the tin and the watch. I've still got that tin, and it's got my little snap bracelets in and stuff. It's just like a time capsule from the 90s. But they used to do polls in there, didn't they? And Diamonds Are Forever is always towards the top of that. I thought, yes, my people.
Mm-hmm.
You got the watch as well?
Mm-hmm.
Because you have.
And I've still got the tin for. Did anyone remember that the June Bond magazine that came out? I think it was nearly every second or third week, and you had like the tin filled with like the top trumps, who what was the best, who was like the toughest fight, or what was the best car.
Yeah.
Still in the cupboard.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and we haven't even mentioned James Bond Jr.
Amazon might do that.
We'll get onto that in a minute. Considering how bad, when I watch James Bond Jr. clips on YouTube, I used to think it was really good. It's obviously I was a child. It's not very good at all. it's quite shit.
Yeah.
But now Andy's love of Thundercats and things like that. Yeah. It's a time of placing. But what aspects of Bond films do you think would appeal to him? Because he isn't a fan.
But I think Monty said it earlier. It's just summed up quite well, especially with some of the older ones. It is the cinematography. I think you haven't got to be a Bond fan to appreciate the way that the films are put together in certain spaces, and you also factor in. We've also mentioned it as well. These the stunts like before what the Brosnan era, it was no CGI, so it was all like proper stunts, proper sets. So you even anyone that appreciates film should appreciate those elements of the Bond. But yeah, and a lot of them, you can pick them up and watch them as a film because there's not only the Craig ones have that underlying undertones throughout the series. The rest of them you can just it's plug and play movies. Like you can just pick one up and it's based on the book and that's it. Like it's all into one stop shop for the whole story. You haven't got no prequels, no sequels. It's just you can just enjoy it as it is as a film standalone. Those are the main things for me. But bad cinematography was top of my list.
Yeah.
It's like a rainy day film though. Even if it's on ITV and it's 20 minutes in, I'll still watch it.
Yeah.
Even if it's a terrible one, I'm like, oh, fuck it, I'm condemned now. I'll watch the rest of it, even if it's a terrible Bond film.
But you are right, though. They are. I don't think they get the credit that they deserve, really, for cinematography and stuff like that. Because of all the silliness that goes on, maybe mostly in that's the thing. The silliness didn't really happen until the 70s. It's kind of the whole. If you took the Roger Moore stuff out, the rest of it is quite serious, with just a bit of double entendre added on.
Yeah,
It's only
carry on.
yeah, it's Carry On Bond. But again, that explains a lot about me, doesn't it? That's why I was brought upon that stuff. That's why I love it.
So they are like some of them are just classic espionage thrillers, and if you're into that, you can just appreciate them for that. Especially like Russia with Love, that's very much kind of that ilk.
Well, I had that big taking them as period pieces in the politics of the time.
Yeah,
because you take them as time capsules of what they are. And again, I do just urge anyone to go and watch Tomorrow Never Dies, and just how weird it is that film came out in the late 90s.
Yeah,
and how it's just happened. And he drives a car with his phone.
What's what like?
Yeah,
exactly.
Like, and I can defrost mine from my phone. Press the button, warm up, please, and it warms up to 22 degrees for me. Like, it's like robots; they're taking over.
I didn't even. Again, another thing that I learned from the trip to Liverpool away, that I didn't know that was a thing. That Cheryl was talking about it on the couch, and because she had to have a new battery because it died, and they were all saying, yeah, because that's because you turn it on before you get in. I was like, what?
Yeah, literally every day of the week, mine's scheduled to be ready for me at 8:30. So whether I'm driving to the office or I'm on the school run, it preheats and it's just there, ready for me.
It's a first world problem.
Yeah, very, very, very much so. Especially when you forget to do it, like I did today, and I've finished work at 5:30, walked to the office, and it's cold. I'm like, oh my god, what have I got to do?
It wasn't cold today.
Yeah, I know it wasn't, but I still wanted that nice warm seat when I sat in there. First of all,
because I still have the issue.
Say that again.
Well,
It's still shorts weather up here. It's not cold.
Oh no, it is here. Means you are well in the shorts kind of club.
yeah,
Actually, it's a prerequisite for this pod, by the sounds of it, is there needs to be a shorts weather guy, because Matt is, Andy is.
Yeah, the problem was I had shorts on and a parka coat and a hat and scarf at the same time, and carrying a chainsaw down the canal, which was
That's normal.
And looked at a pelican at the same time.
No, the pelican is not returned. Pelican was there once when it escaped from the zoo, and it was captured again. But it did escape. No one believed me until I found the story out. It was
I got
there.
told off at work for laughing at that, listening to that chainsaw story in the middle of the office, and I was just like, typical Stu.
But I needed to transport it from my house to somewhere else to cut a tree down. Yeah, there was no choice.
You didn't have to dress like that to do it.
It's a problem
Start
leaving that.
Fire alarm.
It's the problem of leaving the house at 5 a.m. because it's like 2
Yeah, I agree,
degrees. Yeah.
This
And
makes
it's
it
dark.
worse. So you're dressed in shorts, a parka at 5 a.m. when it's still probably dark, carrying a chainsaw down the
That's annoying.
and a tenant super.
Oh God.
I've seen a man walk a duck down the street. A duck on a lead. And my old neighbour had a pet bat as well that used to bring out on occasions. Again, on a lead. So
Nice.
nothing out of the ordinary up here.
But where did it go? Did like a falcon on his arm?
Yeah, pretty much.
But hanging downwards.
It's just this fucking brought out this fucking zoo bat looking thing. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, oh, it's just my pet. I was like, well, what's wrong with that dog?
It's got like a necklace with like a wooden bar here, and he just hangs up down the stand.
I think a dog was too niche for him. But no, I want something more exotic. I'll get a bat.
I think we thought still game was far fetched.
Yeah.
It's a documentary. Much like Jones Fun.
I mean, thinking that the next Bond film shouldn't be in Scotland because it's a crazy place. And we have got the news of the Amazon thing, which now Amazon has complete control.
Right.
And I've come around to the idea somehow of this Reacher Jack Ryan crossover event that is inevitably going to happen when they turn it into a series. But where do we go from here? Because other than hell,
It's
you brought it to my attention.
it's never about George Lucas. This is what's going to be. I saw that 1 in a Million. Remember that fucking Frame show? That's exactly a great. Doesn't it set a high standard for what's going to come? Unless they adapt the Charlie Higson Bond series, which I think still needs to be done.
But do you turn it into a series and not only films?
It'd have to be a series. I don't think it'd work as a film.
I think that's the only way that this would work. Doing something different because, I mean, I have no. He said the next Bond. I have no idea. I've got no clue. I mean, at one point I would have said Kit Harington, but no, that's a silly idea.
I didn't like the idea of James Norton.
No, there it is. Or Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill's too chiseled.
Yeah, he's too boiled. Same as, and then the one that's mentioned is Theo James, and I was like, nah.
Oh no.
I didn't mean James Norton.
I'd rather have Dan Stevens. Someone. There's left field for you.
No, I like Dan Stevens actually. That wouldn't be a bad shout. But is he too old now?
No, I think he's the perfect age.
How old is Dan? Oh no. I think he's probably older than
Won't you have to be 35 and above? It's the perfect age.
Dan Stevens.
What is he, 40?
He's 42.
So it's
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah, he was as old as fucking a view ticket, so we could still.
I mean, he was held up by rods at that point.
Like fucking Pinocchio.
But I think that's not a bad shout, actually. See, if we've got a Dan Stevens Bond series on Amazon, the espionage crossover series, it works. It doesn't have to be like when you had.
Those fucking crossovers.
It doesn't have to be like when Hawaii 5-0 crossed over with New Magnum. That didn't work. Which was the thing that happened.
They're going to ruin it. They're
You're
going
gonna have like the Office style series with Q and Moneypenny.
an offshoot.
Baron Samedi origin series.
Oh. Gonna get backstories of like M and Moneypenny and Q going through uni and all this kind of shit.
Did it finally bring back Robinson then?
It's a clean slate.
I know, but I miss Colin Salmon in the series.
They probably will actually do a spin-off of the lady that jumped into Bond when he was in one of the recent films. And she was like 007 and then he was 007. They'll probably do a cast off with her and they'll call it 008 or something daft.
Probably more believable for the Paloma. They've always wanted the Paloma spin-off.
Yeah.
Beyond the Dermas.
Well,
I love that.
if that happens, yes. 100% yes.
Then I'm all for the Amazon deal, then that's fine.
I mean, they could charge me extra for 4K.
They can have the shirt off my fucking back if they have that.
She's the best thing about that. Well, she's the best thing about most things, but
Yeah.
there we are.
That's another.
I'm surprised that wasn't a question, actually.
Well, best Bond girl.
Yeah.
It's Andy though, isn't he? This is why.
But
he's not.
he doesn't know the Bond films, does he?
Yeah.
And that'd be up there. Like, the other one I'd probably have is...
Might as well a Bond girl to look at. Just for complete eye candy.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
So let's go with that.
That's what the women are for.
You've also
In
got,
Bond
you've also
world.
got supporting characters like Felix.
Yeah.
But he's always intertwined in it. I quite like that.
Who is different colours in different films as well.
Yeah.
Which again goes into the whole thing about, yeah, you can just jump in, but sometimes you're going to get very confused if you didn't know what was going on.
Can you tell the difference between David Hedison and Jeffrey Wright? Really?
It's a point that needed to be made.
Oh, just you.
I think mine would actually be Denise Richards as Christmas.
No.
I knew he was going to say that, or what's the one that was... What is the other one that was in Terry Housewives? Yeah. He's going to be something daft like that with him.
No, it'd be Hannah Blackman, obviously.
I'll go for Jane Seymour.
Again.
Eye candy wise, it's Halle Berry, unfortunately.
Another solid choice.
I'll go for Famke Janssen.
I mean, you styled your whole look on Xena on the top, to be fair.
Dominant women.
I mean, that... I was just saying that character opened my eyes to things. But it's
Either that's when I looked into BDSM, I was looking at her. Seems like a night well filled.
Yeah.
This is a different world that this 12-year-old me doesn't know. Just say it was a good job I watched that film on my own.
Oh, dear.
That was an education for me.
But that actually kind of perfectly leads into but Andy's words. Bond is clearly a sociopath, cracking jokes about shagging women and murdering people. One of the best and worst one-liners.
Christmas
You
will
know
come
what?
once a year.
Yeah.
That was on my list. I've got
End the
Be-
film, that's the extra. Bravo.
the best ones. Shocking, positively shocking. I like that one. I think he got... I can't remember what film it is. I think he got the point where he's on the
Rub-
beach and he shoots him with the harpoon. And then Daniel Craig wise, yeah, the simple, the bitch is dead. But I also really like that scene where he's being tortured. He's in the chair. He's like, I've got an itch, and he just whacks him under the chair, and he's like, I know, right a bit, and then he's like, then he finishes it with, everyone's gonna know you died scratching my balls, and he's literally like out there. But then also the Casino Royale one where he's like, that hand, it nearly killed me.
The one strapped to the chair is a bit too close to home for me. But I've been paid to do that.
Again, different podcast.
Cage fighting after dark.
I mean, you've definitely said keeping the British end up, haven't you?
We're British.
I mean, there is. I was. You have to type it in to look at it as long as the collars and cuffs match. That was another classic.
There's one in Diamonds Are Forever where this goes Plenty O'Toole, and then Bond goes named after your father.
Oh, what's that one where the guy inflates and he's like, as he explodes, and he goes, he's always had an inflated thought of himself or something like that. And after he's like inflated him to like blow up.
He just saying, he just says, "I must be dreaming." After she said, "My name's Pussy Galore." It's just funny. It's harmless fun.
Unless you see the book, read the book, it's problematic.
Yeah. When a horrible woman, she's at her kicks.
Roll one and View to Kill after Mayday. He's like, "How was your sleep?" And it was a bit restless, but I got off eventually. Which that sound this imagery that is horrible. It just sounds like she threw him around like an empty tracksuit.
A bit like, I think he's attempting re-entry.
It's always Q catching him in the act and Gideon.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of glad he was never unveiled as one of them. He would have ruined everything. Grey old man of that age. You had it about?
Oh, Tom, please don't. Not Desmond Whitlam.
Although, there has to be a bit of love for John Cleese.
No.
I thought he did an okay job.
No.
Yes.
No.
In a bad situation,
No.
he was never going to win.
No.
Yeah, I don't know.
Best thing about that film.
No.
I'm not sold. Who's your favourite M?
Judi Dench is the one that I grew up with, so it has to be. She's mother.
Yeah.
I mean, I do like Bernard Lee for the fact that he does get annoyed at Bond all the time and treats him like a cunt, but Judi Dench for me is always...
Yeah.
Especially when she rips him apart in GoldenEye.
Yeah. I was going to say that as well in one of my one of the memorable moments as well, because it's such a change from everything else that you had before it, and obviously you had that gap of, was it 6-7 years between so it was in Bond film wise it was a while, and then you go back to that whole thing, the speech about it being a dinosaur, you think this is amazing.
Misogynistic dinosaur just sits there wants to take it.
But she's Judi Dench, she's brilliant in everything. And I think that one actually is a fact. Other than Cats, but that's not her fault. Yeah, I think again that is the point, that there's something for everything, something for everyone.
Yeah,
and Bond is great, and then we're going to get it all the time, 3 times a year on Amazon. But until that time, Andre has got lots to watch now.
I think you've missed a question, 12. I thought you'd left it intentionally because it's the one about being over the last 60 years. Why is Bond such an enduring character? I thought you'd
You're taking my outro off me.
I do apologise.
And now that Andrew has got all these films to watch, why do you think Bond has endured so much?
There you go. I am sorry, Stu. Yeah. I'll quickly get my answer and then I'll leave you for ruining your out. I think although Bond is Bond, it does change. And as you've said, and as Monty said previously, it changes from kind of what Bond is, and it relates to the time of when the film comes out. So you've got all the Cold War stuff where he's very Bondy, very espionage-y. Then you've got that little transition into Craig when he brings that, it moves with the world, and it's that deeper, more thoughtful, thought-provoking kind of character where you delve into him a little bit deeper. He's more vulnerable. He's exposed. You look at the backstory. Then you got the other way. Then you got the films where it's very fitting, like you said about the Roger Moore stuff. It's just carry on Bond, and it was at the time it worked, and it doesn't necessarily always age well, but the fact that Bond it's not just Bond in the same film. The character evolves, the stories evolve, and the way it's portrayed changes as well. That was a bit I think that's made it so successful. It's not deviate. It's new variations with extra additional nuances of your core Bond principles that we said earlier. That's why I think it's lasted the way it has.
Yeah, brilliant answer. Nancy, follow that.
I can't. It knows what it is. If you're going to be that franchise that's going to look at Star Wars and say, do you know what, we're going to try and replicate it, the Moonraker. They're not exactly scared, are they?
No.
After the Brosnan era, I suppose with Jason Bourne, but does it fit? You know which decade you're in, whatever Bond film you're putting on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know the Bond girls are getting dilated now and then.
We'll have our time again. But I think that sums it up perfectly, because you do know where you are, and it is a time capsule, but you still do have the hints of what it was before. Obviously, you don't want him slapping women about anymore. That's a bad idea. But at the same time, you don't want that stuff censored and taken out of the originals either. Put a little disclaimer at the start if you want to, if you have to. But they are what they are, and there is the statements of the time, and the whole misogynist dinosaur speech.
That's the rhyme. That's them apologising. That's recognising, like, we were wrong.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there doesn't need any. You don't need a disclaimer. You just need mother telling you.
Yeah. And it worked perfectly. And yet you still had him with the one-liners. You still had him with the women. And yeah, when he gets to Daniel Craig, it's not exactly the same, but the essence is still kind of there.
Yep.
And that's the main thing. But you're not going to get that essence unless you watch the stuff before. Not that you need it, but it still carries through. And I think that's all they're hopeful with this Amazon stuff. As long as it's not completely diluted, but maybe being on there and not released gives them more license. I mean, I can hope. I just don't want it to be shit. We all know it probably will be, but it could be Rings of Power.
I'm not used to Stu seeing the positive in things, so I'm going to take it.
Rings of Power. That's the comparison.
I'm saying it cannot be Rings of Power. I actually didn't mind Rings of Power.
I hate it.
But
no, as long as Bond, they can take it back if they stop being too serious.
Yeah.
That's my issue with the entire Craig era, is it's too serious, and it also backs away from using the Bond theme. More of that.
You know, we had a period of time, I think it was either GoldenEye and Tomorrow Never Dies, where they kind of had the jazzed up Bond theme, and they played it at Molyneux before kickoff.
What?
He's not lying.
That's a lot better than what's played at Celtic Park. Fuck some DJ junkie music that is awful.
Well, we had a bit of Kanye, but now we can't have Kanye anymore, so
Yeah,
it's all ruined.
it's completely banished now. We now got to listen to Fred again.
It does get played at Molyneux though. Celtic,
Yeah.
the Celtic seems to have a thing, but even before every Champions League game, it's always someone on the pitch with a guitar that you can never fucking hear. Like, what you hear for the music before a game.
The sound system's just as bad as someone playing on the pitch without a microphone next to them. The sound system on you is rubbish, but we tend to have Elvis. Then we have...
It howls.
Kev is not allowed a microphone.
the respect hailing Kev.
It's a hard object.
Kev's if you can have national treasures for towns, then that's what Mr. Kev is.
100%. He's a city treasure. He's Kev.
You've only got one guy that dresses as the Pope every match. That's all he does.
Kev had a better dressing up until someone told him he looked like Jimmy Savile, and then he stopped.
He did have nuns, but then they weren't fully dressed. So that got the kibosh put on that one.
No, Kev's never had nuns, so Kev's better.
And you can't really. The Catholic Church hasn't got a great history. Let's put it that way. Wouldn't put it like that.
Well, you think he'd walk out with little boys, really, wouldn't you? There we are.
Are you going to go there, are you? No,
I didn't mention the Catholic Church.
no little boys. Like that. No, I'm not fucking about.
If you will call yourself the boys as well, I mean, it's clues in the name.
BH. No, we all. There's a difference.
But no, we have Elvis and Fred again. That's what we have. And funny. Literally a thing. And a bit of Zeppelin.
I don't even think our sound system got updated. It might have done when we got the disco lights, but it still isn't the greatest.
Yeah, we had disco lights put in for the Premier League rules, and then we had the light show, and then the guy responsible was sacked. So
We've got the light show, and we've got flames, even though we get fined constantly for throwing flares. But yeah, controlled fire's fine.
We had fireworks until they hit fans.
Yeah, the Green Brigade did do it for free.
yeah, we have flags now. Don't do anything really. Yeah,
That,
I think having 2 fireworks go off in the space of 15 years, one hitting someone in the head and one hitting the roof of the stand, probably kind of banned that forever now.
Yeah. Stewie's not out flags because he sits in the posh seats.
Yeah. The only flag that's the only flag I've ever had, and that was free.
I still got my one for Seville for 2003.
I think it should be on the wall. Actually, that's going for. Is there ever any football in Bond films?
Cinebreath.
Don't think so.
That was just one to send to Adam Hurrey in like football in the background on a telly. I don't think there ever is.
The only sports I remember is, I think I remember seeing squash or tennis. I can't remember what film that is.
You'd think it'd be more prevalent, would you?
Mm.
It's a weird observation. Aaron, 20 minutes in. Yeah, so that was Bond in a nutshell.
Okay.
We both from Wolverhampton and Scottish one.
But even the location just said Scotland.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I don't. You can't be exposed. You don't know where you are.
I'm
You're in
fucking Edinburgh.
You look like you're in a bunker. When you said Edinburgh, so that's okay.
They all do have weird addresses up there. The street names and the like.
Would we have a golden highway? One of the housing schemes. They did about 3 street names, like Bond themed, and then gave up.
I just get had enough.
And the only thing that signifies Connery being born in Edinburgh is just a plaque that no one can see. They tried a statue, but the council went, no, we're not funding that. Fuck them.
I mean, you think that would be a decent idea, wouldn't you? From a tourist point of view.
The flats that are in Trainspotting, they're now protected. So Trainspotting's fine, but Bond isn't.
That's Amazon's first job.
Yeah. The true face of Scotland.
Not Trump and his golf courses, no.
I don't play golf, so he can do what he wants.
Do you think? Wonder are the flats in Bristol protected? I'm guessing they are. From the Only Fools and Horses flats. Because you see them every time we go there, and they always look the same.
I presume so. Can't say it's something I've researched.
No. I just thought about it the other week when we went down. I thought, oh, there they are.
Yeah. It's a question for Eddie.
Yeah. We'll put Again, that's a different podcast. Walls Fancast. Go and check us over there for more of this nonsense. But until then, was this your first time on?
Yes.
Things blur into one. I'm sure we've talked about films on the Fancast before, but
Yeah.
we've got to nearly hour and a half, and the question has not been asked. Favorite Nicolas Cage film?
This is where my lack of film knowledge actually is exposed, because apart from Bond, I don't really know anything else. Bond and Disney is just about it. As for Cage films, I wouldn't even know where to start. I don't know. Chuck some of his main hitters at me, and I'll give you one.
Well, the obvious one's Face Off.
Nah, didn't like that.
Con Air.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, we'll go that one.
There you go.
There we go.
That's a decent shout.
I didn't mind that.
And you've got 63 to go with so far, Monty, so that we talked about anyway. Hit me.
The Rock. It's because of Connery.
Yeah, of course. Never in doubt.
No.
Where, in the perfect way to end, is a Bond film with Nicolas Cage in all but name. Because that is the character that he is playing.
They do need Cage in a Bond film, though.
We're not talking about Never Say Never Again.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Doesn't count.
There's nothing wrong with it. It's better than Thunderbolt. Miles better than Thunderbolt.
It doesn't count. The Thunderball's got Tom Jones, so.
And Never Say Never Again's got Kim Basinger. Dick Nate.
And Rowan Atkinson.
It's a bit like
I'm not being sold on Never Say Never Again now. I'm the auditor of this.
even the Bond villain, the what's her name? Fatima Blush is the best. The Bond girl. She's fucking nuts. If you're gonna get blown up and nothing left but your heels, that's
But regardless of it being unofficial, it is the true essence of Bond, that film. Even though he's way too old to be doing anything.
yeah, but they're the only one that can still get away with Spectre, because they weren't allowed to use it.
Hmm.
They did in that, but they couldn't use it until Spectre came out.
That is the thing. The new stuff is for another time when we know more about it. Or we'll talk about it on here, and Andy will moan and groan, but we will talk about it. Hopefully, this 90-minute sojourn into the world of Bond has satisfied him when he gets back from treading the boards. I don't know what plays in this time. It might be Hamilton. Who knows? Until then, good for months. For Dean.
See you later.
Cats.
Cats is a great show.
Cats. Andy
See.
Cats.
In Cats. Goodbye, everyone.